Well, welcome to the show tonight. Around Town, I'm here with my sister Renee Dallas, and we're going to be doing something a little bit different tonight. We are going to reverse the interview process, and Kelly Borgen from iHeart Old Town is going to be interviewing us about the walking food tour right here in Old Town Orange.
So hi, Kelly. We're going to have some fun with Good to have you with us.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here again. This is kind of fun. So this is my first time getting to be the interviewer. So this is pretty exciting.
Great. Well, you got a lot of experience with your Facebook page.
This is true. Usually in writing. Now I have to look at you guys. Okay, so, I'm sitting here with you guys, Renee and Deanna. Maybe some of you know, you don't know, but they are sisters, Italian sisters, partners in crime, doing lots of business together around Old Town. And today we're going to talk about this great little program that you started. You guys actually told me about it several months before you launched, and it's a walking food tour of Old Town Orange.
Yeah.
And that is very exciting because we have a lot of new restaurants in Old Town, as well as a lot of restaurants that have been here for many years. And it's becoming more and more of sort of a foodie place, a great place to come and experience lots of different cuisine.
Right.
So I know a little bit about you. I know that you guys grew up with, a big food and wine background.
Right.
So tell me a little bit about that and how, you don't have to get into all about how it's come into the walking food tours, but just tell me a little bit about your upbringing.
Well, we grew up here in Orange County, and our father was from Italy, and our mother was Italian also. And we just were always around big parties, food. Our mother always cooked Italian food, and our father we grew up making homemade wine. So we always were exposed to food, and we just always had a love for it.
We made wine every single year.
I love that.
Wine season. We went to the wine country.
Cucamonga
area.
Picked the grapes.
In fact, sometimes we actually picked the grapes.
Wow.
Yeah. And we've got whole movies of us.
I'm jealous.
Yeah.
And then we had to bring it all home, and then we had to make it and put it in the barrels and all that. So we grew up with the education. We were grown up making wine and learning.
And just it was always around about family and food. And then my background is I ended up going to work with my grandmother when I was 10 years old in a little old, Italian fast food back then. And that's how I started to get interested in, in my career, which is food service. Okay. And then I went to culinary arts school, and I transferred to University of Nevada, Las Vegas, did the hotel restaurant management program.
Nice.
Got to go to Switzerland and study in the École Hotelier. I've always been about food, and I don't know what else I would be doing.
So you are a foodie.
I am a total foodie.
She's a foodie from way back.
Yeah.
Nice.
New restaurants, I'm there.
I like it.
I will watch the Food Network, watch something local, get in the car and drive there.
I'm right there with you.
Just drop everything and go if it's within, an hour's drive.
Nice.
Yeah,
Okay, so recently you started the walking food tours, and there's quite a little buzz going on about it. I know that you guys have been, selling out your Saturday and Sundays, and it's been getting some good reviews. And I want you to tell me about it. Tell me more. What's it like? What's it all about?
Well, the idea came about, I went to Chicago in April, and I found a walking pizza tour in Chicago, downtown. And I went on it, and I came home, and I said, wow, are there any walking food tours right here in Los Angeles in our area? So I Googled it, and I found a few, and then I said, oh my gosh, what about Old Town Orange, our community we live in? And then, so I looked, and there wasn't anything. So I said, Renee, you know what?
Who does she call? Her sister.
I calls Renee because I said, I won't do this if I don't do it with you. It'll never happen. And then somebody else is going to do it, and I'm going to get really mad because we didn't do it. So between my food, my skills in that area, and just having an idea how it worked, and Renee's great idea. She put the website together, and what else?
Yeah.
And you did all the logo and
Yeah, I
graphic
have a
arts.
marketing communications background,
Okay.
so I did the website, the logo design, all the copy, and I love to write, so I write the blog.
Nice.
And I have a lot of fun doing that, so we're a good team.
Yeah.
We complement each other pretty
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, definitely.
So-
So you had this idea. You started putting the little pieces together, the logo, the name, the website, getting the marketing in place before you actually launched for the first tour.
Right.
And then you did that. And so tell us what happens during the tour.
Go ahead, tell her.
Well, first thing we do, we start at the Starbucks in Wells Fargo.
Okay.
And it's a great place. We were laboring over where to start, and then it hit us. What a great place, because if you're waiting for everybody to show up, it's a great place to have your coffee and sit down in a comfortable chair and wait. And so Starbucks gives us a sample, whatever their current promotion is.
Yeah, their
Nice.
eggnog or their caramel lattes. They give us a
Gingerbread
AirPod.
latte.
Gingerbread latte.
That's what I can
Yeah.
look forward to this Sunday.
Yes,
Absolutely.
definitely, yeah.
And then what's great about it is most people go, I didn't even know there was a Starbucks in here.
Yeah.
That is
And
the best Starbucks.
Yeah.
It is, and it's got some great historical significance. It's got a beautiful ceiling.
Oh,
We
it's
talk a little
gorgeous.
bit about the building and its significance in Orange. From there, we leave and we go straight to PJ's Abbey.
We start walking over
Oh.
to PJ Abbey's.
Okay.
And then we give a little bit of history. We talk about, the white brick building.
Elin and Grote,
Oh.
which was a merchandise building. It was. I kind of get the impression that it was like the big Walmart of its day. It
Yeah.
was a huge merchandise.
Right, and they had delivery boys at the time.
Oh.
So we talk a little bit about the history, and then we also talk about the movies that were made
Oh, really?
in Old Town Orange, because there's so many movies. It's
That's
Any Town
fun.
USA.
You know, what's interesting, just a quick little side, is that on my iHeart Facebook page, a lot of people ask me, what are all the movies
Right.
that, have been filmed in Old Town Orange? Of
Yeah.
course, I don't know the answer to that, but it's got to be
Well,
somewhere.
Yeah.
There's several of them, and some tours, depending on how large the group is, sometimes you can get all of it in, or sometimes you point it out, depending on, what other things people are asking you.
Oh, that's fun.
If you get a really artsy group, they'll stop and get like this close to a piece of artwork that's in a window, and so you'll talk about that. But we try to, point out as often as we can all the movies. Sometimes we'll get to all of them, sometimes we'll just get to some of them. But we
Nice.
really just want to answer everybody's questions. So
Yeah,
they have
it's
a good time.
it's fun because a lot of people right away they go, "Oh, I remember that."
Nice.
or they say they're going to go home and watch it again. So then we get to our first stop, which is PJ's Abbey, and that is a wow stop because of the history and the church and the
Yeah.
restaurant and all the art of Gary Mead.
Yeah.
And so then we sit down, and all the restaurants are waiting for us because we're kind of timed to
Right.
arrive at a certain time, and then they bring us out a sample of their
Okay.
food, and it changes every week. Sometimes it's their raspberry French toast, filet mignon with melted brie,
Or blue cheeseburger.
blue cheeseburger. So then we all sit there, and then within about 20-25 minutes, then we're off, and then we walk around to the fruit exchange building. We talk a little bit about that. Then we get over to an antique store, and the owner of that store comes out and she talks to us about her store, and then we do a balsamic
Aged
vinegar
balsamics.
and olive oil, different fragrant olive oils.
Yum.
And then we stay there. Then we go over across the street to Paris in a Cup.
Oh.
And then
Very
the
cute
owner,
store.
she comes out and she talks to us there, and she brings us their famous baked potato soup and their
Nice.
French macaroons.
Hey, it's a really nice experience for people to talk to the owners. Almost all the time, the owners will come out and greet. Periodically, they're so busy they can't come out and greet, so we do the whole thing. We give them the history of the restaurant or the food or whatever. But almost always the owners will come out. And what I
Okay.
like about it is the restaurants are not chains. They're all individually owned. And
Right, they're
those
all
people
unique.
are all very connected to Orange, and they really do love connecting with the people on the tour.
Yeah.
And there's a relationship that's built up when they come out and talk to the people on the tour and answer their questions. And
Right.
Well, it's one of the things that I always, am talking about as why I love this community, and I know it's why so many other people love this community,
Right.
is that when you go to most restaurants here
Right.
and most boutiques, antique stores,
Yeah.
galleries, I mean, the owner is, sitting there behind the counter,
Right.
and they know who
Very
you are.
hands-on.
Very,
Yeah.
very hands-on.
And that's
it's
what
wonderful.
makes this community so special, because the owners and the people get to know each other. And I mean, every time you come downtown, you always see 2 or 3 people you know.
Always.
Right.
Yep,
I don't know if that's good or bad.
exactly.
Make sure you have your lipstick.
You always have to have your
Mostly
lip.
good.
Exactly.
Make sure
Yeah.
your hair's combed and you got your lipstick on. That's what I say.
Nice.
And then we get to go to, on Saturdays, we're lucky enough to go to the Enchanted Florist and meet
nice.
Katie, I'm sorry, and she'll be working on flowers, and she'll start doing a demo and explain different flowers and talk about her shop and the history and how long she's been there.
Nice. So you get a little bit of the restaurants, but you also get to go to some of the other types
Yeah.
of stores in Old Town.
Exactly,
Too.
yeah.
Good. Nice little flavoring of everything.
Yeah. Then we make our way over to Felix Cafe.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And Carlos is the owner there, and he's very hospitable. And we usually get to sit outside if it's a
Oh,
nice day. We
good.
haven't run into too much bad weather, really.
Yeah.
A little bit chilly a few days, but when we sit outside, we have the heater, so everybody's
nice.
comfortable.
So there's always like a table set up for the group, and you
Yes.
get to actually sit down and experience, the whole experience.
Right, exactly, yeah.
Nice.
And they bring us empanadas and
Oh, my.
papareinos and plantains. So we're really getting a real sampling. By this time, we're getting pretty full.
Yeah.
We've learned to
Pace ourselves.
pace ourselves.
Yeah, we pace
Yeah.
ourselves. But we try to eat with the people on the tour, because it's part of the experience of feeling like you're in a group and you're connecting with one another. I think eating together is a really important part of that.
Right.
So we very rarely abstain from eating, but periodically we try to pace ourselves.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Now, do the restaurateurs or boutique owners ever, offer special promotions when you're stopping by, or promoting special events or anything like that?
Oh, sure. Citrus City Grill has this. We just discovered this since we started doing the tour. They, about once every month, they have a wine and dinner flight where they have about 4 or 5 courses, and it's themed. One night it was Argentine. So every course is paired with a wine pairing. And then they had a tango demonstration. It was
Oh.
really fun and
Like
very
a real
romantic.
tango demonstration,
Real
like dancers come and
dancing in between the tables, and we get to watch it.
Nice.
They explain the food, they explain the tango, and
Wow.
you just end up meeting new people there. There's about 70 people at the Greek one last month.
Wow.
And they did Zorba proud, They
Yeah, the
guys were
owners, the
dancing.
2 Steves.
The two Steves are great.
They're both, yeah. So
Greek.
they danced, and it was it was like my big fat Greek wedding.
That's
Basically, it was real, and the wine was
And
fabulous.
at the very
food.
end, Steve had the couples get up, because he was talking about how romantic Greece was at night. And so they had 3 or 4 Dean Martin songs, and he said, "Can everybody get up? The couples get up and dance." And how often do you get to do that with your spouse or your significant other? Just get up and dance at
often
dinner.
enough.
So
Yeah.
not often
Yeah.
enough. Uninhibited, just having a nice time, uninterrupted.
Then we
So-
make our way to Zito's.
Okay.
We have their margarita pizza,
Nice.
the Rocky Mountain Chocolate Factory,
A good way to top it off.
the candy, the new candy store,
Orange Candy Company.
Orange Candy, and then we end with Cafe Luca.
Okay.
And Watson's is going to be on our tour shortly.
Oh,
And we have
yay.
plans to do a retro tour, a second tour. Probably by January or February, we'll have a second tour.
Okay.
And then we're going to probably work on doing some progressive dinner tours
That sounds fun.
in the
Retro
evenings.
Tour. I like
Yeah.
progressive dinner tour.
Progressive dinner, start at one
Like.
restaurant, have
Very nice.
drinks and appetizers, and then go to another restaurant. And
Excellent.
so we have plans right now. We're Doing good. We're selling out on the weekends.
So you're just doing it on Saturdays and Sundays right now?
Right now, Saturdays, and the tours start at 11 o'clock.
So it's one tour per day?
One tour per day. And then we try to get done by 2, but we've been kind of ending about 2:30.
Yeah, because
So
we
it's
can't
about
pull people out of that
3.5
candy store.
hours. I know.
Yeah. The candy store is so much fun because everybody gets hooked up on, oh my gosh, there's candy from my childhood, or, you know.
Nice. So the response has been good?
Yeah.
Very good. In fact, we have such a mix of people. We have people who have been longtime Orange residents who say, you know, I never went in Paris in a cup. I just drive by and I go to the same old place. I never even knew what was behind the door. And they're definitely going to come back and bring their friends or their mom for Mother's Day or whatever. And they love to bring their out-of-town guests. So not only is it great for locals, and tourists, but the locals, I think, are sort of rediscovering this area, which is great.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, I'm very excited to take the tour myself on
We look forward to
Sunday.
seeing
I'm not
you.
going to eat breakfast.
Right. Don't eat breakfast.
And I'm not going to plan for a big dinner.
Right. Yeah.
Well, thanks for telling us all about the walking food tours. And in a few moments, I will be back to tell you a little bit more about Old Town Orange. So we'll see you in a few. Hello everybody, I'm back and I get to spend a few minutes talking to you a little bit more about Old Town Orange. Last time I did this segment, Around Town with Kelly, I talked about a few of my favorite hot spots that are new in Old Town, and this time I'm going to tell you about a few of my favorite hot spots that have been around for a while, but they're little gems, and if you haven't been to them, hopefully I'll inspire you today. The first two spots I'm going to tell you about are antique stores. And you know, I have to talk about antique stores because I think Old Town is the antique capital of the nation or something like that. We have a kabillions of antique stores. So there's two in particular that I really love. A lot of them are great, but one of them is one of those small, quaint little antique stores called A&P Collectibles. It's owned by mother and daughter duo Lisa and Bonnie Ackerman. They've actually had the business in Old Town for 30 years, I believe, most of it in the same location, but they recently moved. I love this antique store because it's just quaint, it's small, it's the little place that you can go into, and you know that Lisa or Bonnie will be there behind the counter and able to tell you about every single thing in there, which is awesome. They also have a great little saying which I love. It's life is short, use the good dishes tonight. I believe that. I think we should all use our good dishes much more than we do. The second antique store I want to tell you about is one of those big antique stores that we have where it's, you know, room after room of great finds. It's called Country Roads Antiques and Gardens. And I'm bringing up Country Roads because of the garden part, which I actually didn't know about until I was shopping in there earlier this year doing my Father's Day Great Finds in Old Town, and I found the garden in the back. And it's amazing. I am a gardener, and my dad is a gardener, and we love, you know, growing things. And if you like to do that, which I know a lot of you do, this is a great little find. You got to go check it out just for that. I can't tell you about hot spots without talking about restaurants. There's antiques, and then we've got a lot of great restaurants. So the two I'm going to tell you about that have been in Old Town for quite some time is first PJ's Abbey. We talked about PJ's a little bit earlier on the show, and PJ's is just a great family restaurant. They have been in Old Town for 14 years, owned by the Meade family. When you go in, it's, you know, you're going to run into Gary Sr., Gary Jr., maybe his wife Lisa or their kids. You know, it's just a family place. They have a great outside porch with a great Sunday brunch. Yum. And they also have a great bar, and I think they've got the best happy hour in all of Old Town. So if you're looking for that after-work spot, this might be it for you. The second restaurant is my favorite place for breakfast. My husband and I have been eating here since we moved to Orange. It's the Filling Station. And there's actually a lot of great breakfast spots in Old Town, but the Filling Station used to be an old gas station, and you can sit outside on this big porch and bring your dog, you know, bring your kids, and have a wonderful, yummy breakfast and people watch. It's so much fun. My favorite, Old Town Scramble. I highly recommend you try it. Right across the street is my last little spot I'm going to mention, and that is the Schroeder Studio Gallery. This is another one of those mother-daughter duos owned by Katie and Judy Schroeder. It's just a wonderful little gallery. They have all kinds of unique art, a lot of glass art, paintings, jewelry. What I love about the Schroeder Studio is the studio part. They have opened half of their gallery, and you can actually go and take, you know, painting classes, art classes, usually taught by Judy herself, who's done a lot of the paintings that she's selling in the gallery. So those are my quick hot spots that have been around Old Town for quite some time. And if you want to learn more about them, you can check out my blog, iHeartOldTownOrange.com. You can also join me on Facebook with thousands of other people in our community by searching iHeart Old Town Orange, or on Twitter, iHeartOTOrange. If I don't see you in cyberspace, then I hope to see you around town.
Hey, thank you for being with us for another segment of Around Town. We had a lot of fun. We want to thank Kelly Borgen for interviewing us and being with us this evening.
Yeah, it was really fun. I had a good time, and we hope that everybody, you know, participates in the walk and food tour, and we'll see you around town.